Hey everyone, welcome back to your very own YouTube channel, Gym World. Today, we're going to watch the prejudging round of the Open class at the 2024 Mr. Olympia. I was really disappointed with the live stream. The video and audio quality was terribly low, making it almost impossible to tell which athlete was in what condition. This live stream quality is even worse than in previous years. Despite technological advancements, the competition organizers still maintain very low standards. It's a shame that the organizers don't pay attention to the audience's opinions and criticisms. In this video, there are a few points I want to share with you. At first glance, everything might seem obvious, but I have some stronger points to give you a clearer perspective. Let's talk about all the athletes one by one. First, athletes like Hadi Choopan claim they'll be dry and muscular. But when Hadi stepped on stage, he really set the stage on fire. Looking at the photos, we can see what this athlete has achieved. His chest was fuller than before, and his shoulder muscles were more prominent. His entire body was muscular from top to bottom. Hadi's back muscles had also improved a lot and looked much stronger. He has the potential to win the Olympia. Please like this video to show some love and subscribe so you don't miss any bodybuilding news. After him came Rafael Brandao. Rafael Antonio Brandao's body looks like it's made of concrete. The hardness of his body in every pose seemed dangerous. He was tighter and denser than before. The improvements he had made showed that he was no longer weak in any muscle group. His back muscles had grown significantly. Rafael made serious improvements in his back muscles this year and came to this year's Olympia stage fully prepared. The third athlete was Hunter Labrada. Hunter also came with a fully prepared look. When Hunter struck the most muscular pose, different muscles with complete separation were visible. His body volume was really high. Hunter's most muscular pose also looked very strong, and Hunter could be even more dangerous until the end of the competition. His back muscles have improved significantly. Next up, we have Jewett, who previously competed in the 212-pound class. This year, he's making his debut in the Open class and is looking incredibly impressive. What stands out about Jon's physique is the density and thickness of his muscles. His muscles have a full, fibrous look, especially in his chest, glutes, and hamstrings. I have no doubt he'll be even stronger next year. Personally, I think his muscles could use a little more size, as all the competitors are looking very good. Then we have Jon De La Rosa, who recently shared some photos of his physique. On the live stream, Jon looks incredibly tight. If you look closely, you'll notice that De La Rosa's skin seems a bit thick, which prevents his muscles from looking fully rounded and three-dimensional. However, he's in great shape. Due to the poor lighting, you might not notice, but if you pay attention to the fibers in his chest and the striations in his legs, you'll see that he's also in great condition. Finally, we have Brandon Curry. Brandon has arrived looking very similar to his 2020 self, with his head completely shaved. He's also in excellent shape. The separation in his legs and the fibers in his chest show his high level of conditioning. He always reaches this level of conditioning, but this year his muscles seem a bit smaller. His back and triceps are smaller compared to last year. Brandon started his prep very early, and that's why he's only been able to build this much muscle up to this point. In my opinion, he's in better shape than last year, but he's lost some muscle mass. Martin Fitzwater also made a strong showing. It seems he's made significant progress since the New York Pro. This is his first Mr. Olympia, and he presented an incredibly full and dense physique. His back was separated, his abs were striated, and his posing was excellent. His overall package was complete, reminiscent of Phil Heath. While comparing him to Phil Heath might be a stretch, Martin himself claimed in the Cutler podcast that he shares similarities in both appearance and back poses with Phil Heath. Even Phil Heath commented during Prejudging, acknowledging Martin's excellent back and predicting further refinement and separation over time. His physique has shown remarkable improvement in his very first year and promises even greater development in the future. Akim Williams took everyone's breath away with an exceptional front double biceps pose. The size and separation of his biceps were incredible. While he might have appeared slightly off form, Akim delivered an outstanding performance and truly dominated the side chest pose. The detail in his intercostals, the fullness of his chest, and the separation of his delts were evident in every pose. Akim Williams has reached a new level of muscular maturity. Never before in his career has he looked so developed. He is now of exceptional quality. Samson Dauda is truly the king of posing. I want to give him all the credit. This was the best Samson Dauda has ever looked on the Olympia stage. His muscular fullness was undeniable. I can confidently say this is the best shape Samson Dauda has ever been in. Despite people claiming he was off form a day before the press conference, I even defended him then. He dedicates a lot of time to posing practice and presents himself in the best possible light. Andrew Jacked was expected to be a top 5 finisher at this year's Olympia. As I mentioned in my previous prediction video, if you remember, I said that Andrew Jack's lower body didn't match his upper body. On the other hand, Samson Dauda had complete symmetry from top to bottom. I thought the judges might place Samson above Andrew, and that's exactly what happened. In this competition, Andrew didn't shine as brightly as he did in Texas. He had said that Texas was just a warm-up and he would look much better at the Olympia. However, it seemed like Andrew was more energized and ready in Texas. Here, he seemed to have lost a bit of that energy and quality in his leg muscles. Even visually, you could tell his legs weren't symmetrical. Besides, his upper body was so massive that I thought Samson might overtake him. And that's exactly what happened in this competition. Samson came in with his best form, but Andrew fell a little short. Sure, Andrew has a great physique and is a great bodybuilder, but even though he weighed around 136 kilograms, he seemed to need more muscle to fill out that large frame. In this competition, he looked a bit small with that massive frame. After Andrew, William Bonac took the stage. William Bonac comes to competitions with full preparation every year, but this time he looked a bit smaller. But to be honest, there was something about William that really caught my eye. Compared to his previous competitions like the Dubai Pro, he was shining much brighter here. His body was glistening, and when a body glistens, it means the quality of his muscles is very good. His muscle fibers and quality were at a very high level. For example, look at his shoulders. Despite the not-so-great lighting, I could still see the quality and high density of his deltoid muscles. Out of all 15 athletes, I only saw this kind of solidity in his shoulders. Despite the subpar lighting, these photos clearly showcase the exceptional quality of his chest and front delts. His legs are also incredibly strong and defined. From every angle, his physique is flawlessly sculpted and in peak condition. Look at what William has achieved this year. His waist has shrunk, and his back muscles are smaller and less defined. This change in his back is more noticeable when he performs the lat spread pose. When he does the double biceps pose, pay attention to his glutes. They're incredibly tight and defined. His hamstrings are also very strong. As I've mentioned before, Bonac's physique has a certain balance and harmony. It seems like no muscle is small or underdeveloped, and his body is full of vitality. At this rate, I think he has a good chance of placing well at the Mr. Olympia. He just needs to add a bit more muscle mass. This level of muscle fullness and quality is truly impressive, but I do feel that the quality of his muscles has slightly decreased. I'll elaborate on this later. Even when performing chest poses, William Bonac's chest fibers are highly defined. With more effort, this athlete can achieve even greater success. Now, let's turn our attention to the reigning Mr. Olympia, Derek Lunsford. Unfortunately, due to the poor quality of the photos, his physique isn't very clear. We can't say definitively what sets him apart from the other competitors. Honestly, as a fan, I wasn't overly impressed with Derek Lunsford's physique. Of course, the experts in this field are in a better position to judge, but in my opinion, Derek's physique was a bit disappointing. When I saw the photos, I realized why I felt this way. Derek's legs looked smaller. He had larger legs last year, but this year, the size and separation between his muscles seemed less defined. Here, we can clearly see that Derek Lunsford has directly hit the sweet spot of physique. Observing his leg turns, his progress in conditioning is evident. Additionally, when performing chest exercises, new muscle fibers are visible in his chest compared to last year, indicating significant progress in his physique. Please don't take this negatively, I'm only referring to the leg muscles. Furthermore, there's a noticeable increase in the volume of his shoulders and upper body, and overall, muscular maturity is evident in many areas of his body. For instance, while executing lateral triceps exercises, similarities to a legend like Phil Heath are evident, with the inner arm tendons being visibly pronounced. This suggests the athlete is in excellent conditioning, but there's room for improvement in lower abdominal control and the correct execution of lateral and front triceps exercises. Derek's double biceps rear lat spread is truly impressive, and it's hard to find another athlete who can execute this pose so well. However, Derek Lunsford's waist seems slightly thicker this year, possibly due to the significant mass he's added. In every athlete's physique, there comes a point where muscles begin to compromise aesthetics, leading to a thicker waist. This year, Derek's back is significantly larger, but his waist appears thicker, losing the classic V-taper. Despite his massive, powerful back and hamstrings, his waist has thickened. Nevertheless, his back spread pose is outstanding and unmatched. At this point in the competition, it seems Steve Weinberger should call 7 athletes instead of 6 in the first call-out. This year's lineup is incredibly strong, making it incredibly difficult to select the top 6. As predicted, this year's competition is extremely close, and the judges will face a tough challenge in selecting the winners. They initially called out 7 athletes as the top competitors. They mentioned that they typically select the top 6, but this year, everyone looked so good that they decided to call out 7. This is interesting, considering Phil Heath had commented earlier that Steve Weinberger wouldn't call out 7 or 8 athletes. He explicitly stated that 7 was out of the question. Phil, being highly experienced, made this claim, but Steve Weinberger has confirmed that there will be 7, not 6, competitors this year. The squares on the ground for athletes to stand in were all set up in groups of 6 this year. If this is your first time watching the Gym World channel, but when the athletes were called, subscribe and introduce us to your friends. Now, Martin Fitzwater is confused because he was called in the first round program. Imagine, in his first Olympia appearance, he secures a spot in the initial call-up among 7 athletes but doesn't know where to stand. He stepped back. So they called him again, saying, "No, come forward, stand without the box." That's how it happened. Then, the judges were even calling out the wrong names, like calling Samson Andrew jacked. So, friends, here are the names I noted who were in the first call-up: Hadi, Rafael, Samson, Andrew, Derek, Hunter, and Martin. So, 7 athletes like this, and their call-ups continued. Now, I'm not judging anyone's physique here because the image quality is quite poor, and I'm not here to judge. This is the first call-up, I'm just telling you how the show unfolded. All these athletes were in the first call-up. After that, in the second call-up, Brandon Curry and William Bonac came. It seems that this year, we have a very tight competition with new and powerful talents. So, Brandon Curry has been eliminated from the top 7 this year. After that, friends, we're moving towards a major call-up that will help us understand who the judges ultimately chose. This big call-up is one before the final. Here, they quickly select Rafael, Hunter, Martin, Andrew, and William. Now, do you know what happened? Until very recently, it seemed that Brandon Curry would make it to the finals and William Bonac would be in 9th place. But with this call-up, everything changed. It's now clear that William Bonac has joined these competitors, which means he has surpassed Brandon Curry. Because it was expected that Brandon would be chosen in this call-up, not William. I showed you a little earlier what physical condition William is in and what condition Brandon is in. This shows how dangerous William Bonac is. Seeing all these athletes, it becomes clear who the top 3 will be. That's why I said this call-up before the top 3 is like a final call-up. This call-out is getting us one step closer to the ultimate showdown where Hadi, Samson, and Derek will face off just like last year. Get ready, because in our next video, we'll dive deep into the final call-out. We're all on the edge of our seats waiting to find out who the judges will crown as the new Mr. Olympia from this incredible trio. Stay tuned, because the next video is dropping soon. That wraps up our prejudging coverage for now. I've broken down everything you need to know about today's events. So, that's a wrap on the 2024 Open Class prejudging. See you all in the next one.